test. The scores were really concerning. Um, a lot of you that have shown to me that you are proficient in other ways were not able to show proficiency when it came to an exam. And all of these questions are on grade level and they were taken from the state exam. So it should have been a doable test. Now, um, some of the things that you made mistakes on are very easily amended, things that we can fix. So I'm going to be mostly talking about the short responses because that's where I saw a lot of the issue was. Now, let's talk about this question, 19 and 20. I'm going to walk you through how I would do it if I was a student, and then I'm going to show you the biggest mistakes made. So base your answers on 19 and 20 on the flowchart below and on your knowledge of science. The flowchart illustrates how the human body usually reacts to a harmful situation. So I would have underlined this, and I do not see you guys marking up your exam, and that's where most of your issues came from. Alright, so I underlined the important information, how the human body usually reacts to a harmful situation. Harmful, okay. And then I look at my chart, and I go bit by bit, and I interpret my chart. And I notice that there's boxes, right? Person pulls the hand on the stove, person pulls hand away from hot stove. Then I can see that here is narrow, sensory nerve, motor nerve, and here is the spinal cord. So this is the information that must travel from this to this. Now ask me to identify, and I like to box that, identify the cause and effect in this flow chart. So the cause, what started this would be the person places the hand on the stove. The effect would be the person pulls the hand away from the hot stove. I saw very little mistakes in that, but what I did see, almost every single person got this wrong, was number 20. And the question asked you to explain, I would have boxed that, the purpose, oh my god, the purpose for a quick body response like pulling the hand away from the hot stove. So basically, what is the purpose of pulling away quickly or having a quick reaction? Most of you just recited what the reaction was. For example, Exhibit A. All right, let's look at this. This is telling us the purpose of a quick body response is because if a stove is hot, the body will react by pulling your hand away from a hot stove. This is because the heat from the stove is so hot that the body already knows to pull away. Okay. Nowhere in that verbose response that took up more than 2 lines did that person tell me why are we pulling our hand away. It is asking you, why do we have a quick reaction? You should be able to know that. And the reason is so we don't what? So we don't harm ourselves, that we quickly react to a dangerous situation. I got about like 3 people who wrote that. Everybody else wrote something like this. They just restated what happened. No one told me the purpose. Now, if we made sure that everybody who was answering this underlined the purpose and knew that they directly had to answer that question, we wouldn't have seen that mistake. Make sure you chop up that question, that you know exactly what it's asking and you directly answer it. Alright, this one was probably one of the hardest questions on the test. And again, most everybody got it wrong. The 2 human body systems shown below interact to perform several functions for the whole organism. Describe how gas exchange occurs when the circulatory and the respiratory system work together. So it's asking me to describe how gas exchange occurs. How does gas exchange occur? Alright, so exchange is one thing getting and another thing giving. Give and take is basically what exchange means. Here is an example answer. When you breathe in oxygen, respiratory system, in goes the circulatory system, which helps to pump blood from your heart. Basically, I chose this one because I it showed what Lobby did. And it's basically, you guys told me that the circulatory system pumps blood through the body, and the human respiratory takes in oxygen and exhales carbon dioxide. Did that tell me how gas exchange occurs when the circulatory and respiratory systems work together? No, it did not. Now here's another key that works together. So the human respiratory system takes in oxygen. The circulatory system absorbs that oxygen into the bloodstream and pumps it all throughout the body so everywhere can get oxygen to the body. Remember what happens when you don't have oxygen in the body, right? Those parts of the body will die. So that's why it's important. And then inside the mitochondria, right, it turns into carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide goes back into the bloodstream, where it then goes back into the lungs and gets exhaled. So basically what you had to say was the fact that you take in oxygen, it goes into the blood then, the body uses it, carbon dioxide goes back into the bloodstream and is exhaled through the respiratory system. Alright, the diagram below shows several organs in the human digestive system. There you go. I'd like to know what it is. Now it's asking me to explain 2 ways that food is changed as it passes through the digestive system. What did most of you do? Most of you told me how it passes through the digestive system. Very, very, very few people told me how it is changed. Now, this is actually a very easy answer. I don't look at that one yet. Hold on. Where'd it go? Huh. Alright, I don't have the answer. Most of you guys told me that it goes through the mouth, it goes down the esophagus, it goes to intestines. Alright, food is not broken down in the esophagus. Alright, it does get lumped up into a bolus, but it is chewed in the mouth, right? The teeth break down the food when it's chewed. Saliva can also break down the food chemically with its enzymes. It goes into the stomach, right? The food doesn't turn into an acid, the food gets broken down by the acid. Alright, food is not so much being broken down or chewed up in the intestines. Yes, you guys wrote that food is being chewed in the intestines. There is a separation of nutrients from waste. It is absorbed, nutrients are absorbed, and waste continues down through the intestines. But again, I wasn't asking for how it travels. I was asking for how it is changed. And you can't just simply say it's changed in the stomach and it's changed in the mouth. That is not explaining. That is telling me where. Explaining would be saying the teeth break it down, the acid breaks it down. Alright? The acid in the stomach, the acid from the saliva. Alright, shaking my head. You can't see it, but I'm shaking my head. You guys are so smart. Gotta learn how to read a question and answer directly. So, base your answers here on 23 and 24 on the chart below and on your knowledge of science. Each food in the chart is particularly a good source of the nutrient listed. So here you have our protein, which is our nutrient. Alright, I would have circled that. I would have circled nutrient, protein, carbohydrate, fat. I would have underlined food source, fish, orange juice, olive oil. So, which food source? Oh, I would have circled that because I circled it up here on my chart. I circled it. Pretend I circled it. I would have circled it here too. Listed on the chart would provide a quick source of energy to the cells of our body. So which is a quick source? Alright, Ladies and gentlemen, if you did your variables practice on nutrition, this should have been really easy. It's also a bit of common knowledge. All right. The food source, we look at here, protein, which is fish, does not give us quick energy. Carbohydrates, orange juice, carbohydrate, energy. All right. Fat, long-term energy, olive oil. So food source, you cannot write carbohydrate because it's not asking you for the nutrition, it's asking you for the food source. All right, so the correct answer was orange juice. Most of you got that. But here, ladies and gentlemen, this one really? Which nutrient listed on the chart is primarily responsible for growth and repair in the human body? Make sure that you mark what it's asking, because here, the first one asked for food source, the second one asked for nutrient. What do you mostly guys do? Most of you answered which food source instead of nutrient. Most of you guys wrote fish, which is provide the correct nutrient, but it is not the actual nutrient. See? Fish right here. Nope, that is not a nutrient. That is a food source. Silly mistakes, guys. And you wonder why I make you mark up your charts and I make you mark up your graphs, is to avoid these mistakes, because you guys are actually really smart. You're just making really simple mistakes that don't need to be made. They really don't. You guys are better than this. Let's not let this happen again. So finally, there was tons of practice with this. This was almost exactly what the video on control experience was about. This, you guys should have said, yep, Miss Sherbin already did this on her video. It's not exactly the same thing, but it is so close to the video that I gave you. So, base your answers on 25 and 26 on the diagram below and your knowledge of science. The diagram shows a controlled experiment that is super important, designed to test how much time it takes seeds to germinate under different conditions. Huh. Okay, that sounds important, but I know the controlled experiment looking for my cause effect. How much time it takes for seeds to germinate under 4 different conditions. That really doesn't tell me what the conditions are or the cause and effect. Alright, so I'm not going to underline it. 4 bean seeds were placed in 4 pots. Each pot contained 100 cubic centimeters of soil. All 4 pots were placed under the same sunny windowsills. Ooh, a different amount of water was placed in each pot. I got my cause. It asked me here to identify, but it didn't really tell me what my effect was, right? How much time it takes for seeds to germinate. That's basically, okay, that's probably my effect. Alright, ask me here to identify, box set, the independent manipulated experiment, variable in the experiment. I would have put cause up here. What was my cause? Bada ding, bada boom. Different amount of water. Amount of water. Not milliliters of water, amount of water. Not 10 milliliters of water, 20 milliliters of water, amount of water. You have to tell me it's the amount of water. If you just say water, what is it? The type of water? The temperature of the water? What? If you put 10 milliliters of water, that's nice. You have 10 milliliters of water. Doesn't tell me that you're changing it. So then it asks me to identify 2 conditions. Again, identify means I just simply need to write it down. I don't need to explain things. 2 conditions shown in the diagram that are held constant in all 4 pots. Constant means control variable, means same. Now, if it wasn't in the picture, could I give it to you? No. If you said type of water, does it tell you you're using the same type of water? No. Alright, if you guys said amount of seeds, that was good. If you said the same type of cup, that was good. Same windowsill or location, that was great. If you said the amount of water, I know you can't see, I'm shaking my head. It can't be the amount of water because that is a controlled variable. That is not your, I'm sorry, wait, back up. You cannot say amount of water because that is your independent variable. and it cannot be a controlled variable because it is changing purposely. We are keeping our controlled variables the same because it is not the independent variable, and we only want one cause, only one thing to point to when our results change. All right. So I do expect test corrections. You can find test corrections on the website. Very easy way to do it. You must, however, go to, excuse me. You must, however, go to the home page. Why is this taking forever? You must go under General, and you must do the text corrections in the correct format for how I want them done. If you don't do it this way, there's no guarantee that you won't make the mistake again. If you do it this way, you will not. And then if you need help, you can also go to biologyforkids.com, and you can go to Animal Systems, and you can read what you need to. You go to next, keep on going till it stops, and you can also go quiz yourself on every section. All right, this place you can review if you'd like to. Test corrections handed to me personally during workshops, so I can also evaluate what you've learned from that process. All right, we can do this, guys. We can be much better test takers. Again, it's a part of life. It's one way to show what you know, and it's actually an important way to show what you know. So let's get this together and mark up those tests. No longer will you have a clean paper with just circles on the correct answer. You will mark up everything. All right, I hope this was helpful. Have a good day.